Meetings will be scheduled to discuss what to do with the money. Scott, the ex-wife of Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, has donated more than $4 billion in the last 4 months to nearly 400 organizations across the country. It is believed she is the richest woman in the world. Fargo-Moorhead, blizzard warning now from early tomorrow morning, 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, in fact, right on through the day until 9 tomorrow evening. Fargo-Moorhead, turning windy once again later tonight. Chance of light snow, mixed precipitation, looking for a low still of about 11 degrees, and winds north-northwest will pick up 19 to near 40 miles an hour overnight and gusty. Tomorrow still windy, areas of snow, blowing snow, looking for a high of about 11 degrees and then falling temperatures. And the winds will be out of the north-northwest, 27 to beyond 50 miles an hour, with wind chills running near 25 below. Still looking for 2 to 4 inches of snow accumulation locally late tonight through tomorrow. Tomorrow night, windy, blowing snow, 14 below. Christmas Eve day, mostly sunny, breezy, maybe some blowing snow in open areas. Our high only near 0, with wind chills of at least 30 below 0. Christmas Day, partly sunny and warming to near 20. Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy, 24. 17 cloudy Sunday. Fargo-Moorhead, mostly cloudy, it is 39. Paul Juergens, News Radio, KFGO.
The Mighty 790 KFGO, good afternoon, and welcome back to The Drive. KFGO time is 4:11. I'm Dan Michaels, along with Paulie Alliance, our producer, Paul Juergens in the KFGO News Center. And again, a blizzard warning has just been issued by the National Weather Service. Too Tall Tom says maybe only 2 to 4 inches of snow, but you mix that 2 to 4 inches with winds blowing just shy of 60 miles an hour, and things could be tough. I know people are looking for a county-by-county breakdown. Don't have that in front of me right now, but it's our part of the world. And it goes from 3 a.m. tomorrow morning until 9 p.m. tomorrow evening. So blizzard warning has launched into effect. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to talk to Jim Perry, who has invented the track grabber. It'll get you out of the snow if you get stuck. We're going to tell you all about that coming up here in just a couple minutes. But we are really thrilled to have this lady joining us today. It's Mrs. Christmas. How do we have meaningful, memorable, joyous celebrations together in the middle of the COVID virus when we can't gather? Well, my guest, Renae Baker, says, holiday spirit doesn't have to be made up because of traveling and things like that. You can get together for sing-alongs. You know, Mrs. Christmas, Renae, has managed a professional caroling company in New York City for decades. This year, she's bringing live carol sing-alongs to virtual holiday spaces called I'll Be Zoom for Christmas and others, featuring professional Broadway carolers. She has written a book called Defeating Scrooge, How to Harness the Power of Christmas Carols to Relieve Your Spirit Any Time of the Year. And Renae Baker, Mrs. Christmas, joins us, I believe, from New Jersey this afternoon. Hi, Renae. How are you?
Hi, Dan. I'm doing great. And yes, I'm calling you from New Jersey.
Well, you know, you don't sound like you're from New Jersey.
No, I'm from Michigan. And in fact, I lived for a while in Minnesota.
Well,
so I was listening to that forecast just now going, oh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
It made you homesick, didn't it? You wish you were here with your can't get your snowblower started, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I'm a kionophile. I just learned that word last year. It means happiest when it's snowing.
Oh, really?
So if I don't get snow, I'm just not quite as happy.
Well, you just had that nor'easter last weekend up there. So did you get some snow out of that thing?
I did. It was nice because last year we didn't get much, so that was really nice. I don't mind shoveling.
Okay, so I was going to ask, do you have a snowblower?
I do not.
Okay.
But there's not a lot that I need to take care of these days, but I do. I have a shovel in my car.
Ah, very smart.
And kitty litter.
Also very smart.
Right?
And then,
I know what I'm doing.
My next guest, next half hour, invented the thing called the track grabber. You attach it to your tire, and it'll get you out of the snowbank. So, I'll get a track grabber, too, and we'll all be set for winter. Well, we wanted to talk to you about defeating Scrooge, how to harness the power of Christmas carols to revive your Christmas spirit any time of the year, but especially right now. So, Renae, is that what you're advocating for people to do? I mean, when I was on the phone with you earlier today, you were on your way to an event, weren't you?
I was on my way home from a travel, but I actually, I'll tell you, right before you called me just now, I had a client call me because I had a quartet of carolers who were going to a country club in Connecticut, one of the only jobs that hadn't been canceled, And my client called me and said, "You sent carolers here." He had he had messed up and didn't let me know that they had canceled, so they went all the way up to Connecticut, only to not have a job. But see, this is what's happening this year because people they're uncertain. They want to celebrate, but they want to be safe, and so there's been a lot of back and forth that way. But we've had some live events with masks outside, very safe. This one was going to be one of those, but the people, they were afraid to gather inside to have their Christmas dinners, which I don't blame them. But so we've been doing a lot of, like you said, I'll be Zoom for Christmas, and it's great because if you've probably all done Zoom by now, but the people singing, leading the sing along, they all have to be in the same room. So we have these safe caroler bubbles, kind of like your household feels safe around each other.
Sure.
And so we'll be in the same room, and the party will either start by somebody has sent out a Zoom to all their loved ones, or we can help them out and start with that. And so they talk for a little while, they catch up, and then they introduce us, and we can take requests in between the carols. They can unmute themselves. They can't sing, with us except unless they're muted, or else it doesn't work that way. But I know. So it's a lot of fun. We say, "You sound great," when we can't hear them, of course. But we take we take their requests, and they can put it in the chat box. And we have a tech person. One of my other carolers is somewhere else, making sure that if there's any of those people that kind of come uninvited and just try to have fun with you, they get booted, or the people who forgot to mute themselves, they get muted. But it's really been great. People love it. And, it's one of the blessings of COVID, one of the silver linings is that, before we were only able to reach people in New York and Connecticut, New Jersey, and as of last year, Pennsylvania. But now we could be anywhere in the world and have one of these events.
So if somebody wanted to hire you in Fargo, North Dakota to have your Broadway stars sing Christmas carols and that kind of thing to them, can they hire you?
They absolutely can. And
How would they do
can
that?
Reach me. Well, I've got two websites, whichever one resonates most with you, but RenaeBaker.com, that's RenaeBaker.com. In fact, that's probably the best one. And just contact me through the contact, because also when you go to that site, your listeners can get a free carol book that I created. I'm really proud of it. It's pretty. But my book is all about the histories of carols. They're fascinating, really, and it helped me get my spirit back after 1 year when it was MIA. And so there's a fascinating historical fact at the top of each page, the lyrics, and then at the bottom there's a parlor game question. And you can actually download and print as many of these as you want, send them to people. If you're postponing your Christmas, which many people are, including myself with my own kids, to sometime in the spring or summer when it's safer and you actually do get together, you can actually hand these out and they're gifts, or send them to people in advance for your Zoom.
Wow, that's really cool.
So it's really neat. Yeah, so that's free. It's a spirit saver. It's part of the process. So it's a spirit saver carol sing-along book.
Well, very cool. So Renae Baker is joining us, Mrs. Christmas. Her book is called Defeating Scrooge, How to Harness the Power of Christmas Carols to Revive Your Spirit now or any time of the year, of course. But we're just a couple of days away from Christmas, and here in Fargo, North Dakota, we've got an honest-to-gosh blizzard bearing down on us. So if we weren't going to be spending time by ourselves, we certainly are now. The blizzard will add a little more social distance to our COVID situation at the holidays. More important than ever before, probably, to get on your computer. So I know that this is what you do for a living, Renae, part of what you do. But as far as everyone else doing a Zoom meeting and having carols of their own, you must be a big advocate for that, too.
Oh, I am. And, a surprising but powerful bit of advice that I can offer to help people get in touch with meaningful Christmas spirit during what may be a painful and certainly a challenging year. Well, have you ever noticed that there are several Christmas carols and songs that have a melancholy feel to them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, have yourself a merry little Christmas, let your heart be light, or I'll be home for Christmas. Or, classic example, I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Lean into those melancholy songs of the season and understand that there is this inorganic pressure to be jolly now, have Christmas spirit. And that pressure only makes us grab on to that December steering wheel all the harder. But music is a gift to us in many ways, and one of the less obvious ways is that it can help us let go of the white-knuckled grip we might have on our hearts during the most challenging times and allow us to feel the pain and let escape the tears that we've actually needed to cry. And, of course, there's not only a chemical reaction that'll lift you up when you finally shed some tears, but there's great value in letting yourself admit that you're sad, and that's okay. Make friends with the fact that this has been a different kind of year. And if you're like me and you can't be with your children or loved ones this Christmas, it's hard. And there are all sorts of people suffering for all sorts of different reasons right now. So being real with yourself and letting your heart spend some quality time with the music that matches it can help you have meaningful Christmas spirit. You don't have to be jolly or be full of joy to have meaningful Christmas spirit.
So, and we talked about this earlier today too, but what you're to summarize what you're just talking about there is, you don't have to sing Holly Jolly Christmas, if you're not feeling it. And these sadder Christmas songs can help you through those tough feelings, is what you're saying.
They really can. I mean, that one I sang at the end there, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, that was written by our beloved American poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow out of a broken heart over the Civil War. And it was based on a poem that two of the verses had to be left out because they really were about cannons and hearthstones of a continent breaking. But you can see he starts out, hopeful, and then he gets mad. He's like, there's no peace on earth. And then by the end you realize, God is not dead. And people, the wrong shall fail and the right prevail with peace on earth, goodwill to men. So these songs have a sad element to them, but, ultimately they lift you up through your pain. They don't avoid your pain.
And I think it's I'll Be Home for Christmas, a World War II song, which is intended to send the message that I won't be home for Christmas at all.
Right. And look what we're doing now. So many of us can't be home for Christmas.
So find your joy this holiday season by doing your own caroling, or get a hold of Renae Baker. Once again, she has I'll Be Zoom for Christmas, and is it Zoom Golly Golly? Is that how I pronounce that?
Yeah, that's a Hanukkah reference, yes. So for people who celebrate Hanukkah, the Zoom Golly Golly is what you might want to do, even though Hanukkah just ended.
All right, well, so there you go. And if you'd like to have her in a professional group of, is it Broadway singers?
Yep, they're Broadway carolers. They're people who are all Broadway trained. Many of them have been on Broadway many times. But, of course, Broadway is shut down right now, as all live theater is. So you'd also be doing a favor to a lot of out-of-work performers who are a top-drawer talent.
Renae Baker, Mrs. Christmas. It's renaebaker.com, and her book is called Defeating Scrooge, How to Harness the Power of Christmas Carols to Revive Your Spirit any time of the year. Renae Baker, thank you so much for joining us today. I wish you a very Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for spreading some cheer with us.
And same to you, Dan, and all of your listeners.
Thank you, Renae. Have a great Christmas.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
423 at the Mighty 790 KFGO.